Make sure you tune in to find out all the latest news. Let's go Rangers.
Blueshirt Underground, motherfucker! Can't be as a Ranger fan. Can't be as a Ranger fan.
This is an unlawful gathering. This is an unlawful gathering. The truth is out there. The truth is out there.
This is the underground. This is new media. This is the underground. This is new media.
Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar. Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar.
And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers. And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers.
This is New York Rangers hockey. 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 This is New York.
Good evening, everybody. Happy holidays. This is the Blueshirt Underground Show. Today is Tuesday, December the 15th of the year 2020. In our 9th month of our 2-week flattening of the curve. My name is Jim, and as always, I am joined on the other side of this window by the one and only, the incomparable, as Joe Buck would say, the Hall of Famer, Eddie Geik. Eddie, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to be back on the airwaves. Glad to be back. Trying to figure out what's going on with hockey, but I'm glad to see you. I hope you're doing well. The holidays, and the thing is still going on, and the vaccinators and the anti-vaccinators, and I just want to see some hockey. I feel like there hasn't been hockey like in 2 years.
Right? It absolutely. Why did I just got a message that our broadcast was deleted from the Facebook page, the Blueshirt Underground Show. Please start again.
Why?
I don't know.
The opening, it wasn't too hot.
I'll
do better. I promise.
I don't know. I have no idea what happened. If we're still on YouTube, then I'm pissed at Be Live as it is. We've got a possible issue that may lead to our departure from this platform.
Oh, I did not know that.
Well, this actually just came up today. I logged into our Be Live account, and all of a sudden we don't have access on the page to our old shows. Okay, Paul Gaduzzi says he's watching on Facebook, so I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to worry about it. But now when I log into our Be Live account, it now says that we don't have access to our old shows because you have to have the pro account.
Oh,
we have the standard account that we paid for. This is a paid subscription that we have, but the Grand High Exalted Platinum,
of course, the upgrade.
So as far as I'm concerned, they have changed the conditions of our account halfway through here. This is like, I don't know. To me, this is like, I don't know. You lease a car and they tell you you got 10,000 miles a year. And then all of a sudden they say, oh, no, you got 7,000. But they tell you in, 6 months after you bought the car. So
this is quite the injustice. I mean, how do you know
it is? It's if they had said, and I'm still trying to find out if that's the case. But if that's the case, we can do here, we can still broadcast on Facebook and on YouTube at the same time for the same price. I just don't like you change the conditions of the test, midway through here. They're Kobayashi Maruing us, Eddie.
That's right.
That's what they're doing.
Well, I want to say that, we came to Be Live. It was a whole new, wonderful world. We thought things were bright. but it looks like the last 6 months, 7 months, it's gone downhill.
The cracks are beginning to show.
Right.
The bloom is off the rose, as they say.
I mean, I don't know what the alternatives are. I know Gus will say Twitch every 5 seconds, but that's because that's what he's doing.
We're not going to
twitching.
Right. There's a town I know where the hipsters go called Bedrock. Twitch. We're not going to Twitch. Twitch is a fucking mess. You ever look at Twitch?
It's a gamers thing. I've seen
it's a gamers thing.
Hard to find stuff. It's
right. Now, if
not good.
Our first option, I think, would be StreamYard. I know people have had good success with StreamYard. It does all the same things BeLive can do. And
everybody seems to have a show now.
Back to Block Talk, Andrew SFL. Back to Block Talk. Back to our roots, baby.
Back to AM radio. Over a telephone.
Right. Never.
Telephone quality.
I can tell you, never again will we do shows on Block Talk Radio.
You know, a lot of times, I guess the algorithm has it that a Blog Talk ad will appear on my timeline. And I've told you this before.
Yeah.
It's like, try Blog Talk, become your own, and then like all the comments underneath it are all negative.
Right.
This is horrible service. I don't know how they still are in business.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Just like our comments for 9 years.
Yes.
I told you, when I go back and I listen to the old shows, it's amazing how many shows started with, I don't know what happened there, but we didn't have the intro music. I don't have Eddie. I don't have a switchboard. I don't have my sound effects.
I mean, there is some kind of sentimental value for that cheapness.
Right.
But other than that, we must move on. We must succeed where others have failed.
Right. It was where we got our start. It's where we started this. It's like our little storefront at the corner, and then we tried to move into the mall, and now the mall's dying.
Yeah, now nobody's going to the mall. So
nobody goes to the mall.
We've got to we got to go away from the brick and the mortar.
Right.
And get with a real company.
But we'll figure it out, and whatever we do, you guys probably will barely even notice a change, because whatever we do, we'll still be able to do it this way. Still on YouTube, still on Facebook. A lot of people. It'll all be exactly the same.
So I mean,
everybody's got a show, Eddie. Every ex-player, every blogger, everybody's got a show. Everybody's got a show. Again, listen to my podcast. Everybody's got a show.
Well, we'll see the longevity, the stick-to-itiveness, so to speak. That will bear out the winners and the losers, and we shall emerge on top. As usual, the Blueshirt Underground show, with its legion of fans, of crazies. I wonder if you guys are going through the withdrawals, the malaise that my life is without NHL, New York Ranger hockey. Driving me nuts.
It's been we have had 3 games in 9 months.
And forgettable 3 games they were.
Right. Only memorable because they enabled us to get the first pick overall. That's all that makes those games memorable.
Yeah. And it really is that guy holding that ball.
Right. Time Magazine Man of the Year was the guy that threw that ping pong ball.
I'm starting to worry about, how guys are in their prime. With all these months accumulating where they don't play, I mean, they're getting older. I mean, it's only 9 months, you say, but, it's going to be a year soon.
Well, thank God we eradicated anybody over 28 pretty much on this team.
Right. That's true. I mean, we are a very young team. I managed to see the what?
I was just going to say, if they still had Mark Stahl and Henrik Lundqvist, they would both be in their mid-40s by the time hockey resumes. It'd be like Lester Patrick's age.
Are their contracts basically not those two, but everybody's contract is it altered? As far as are they getting paid? I don't know anything about this. Is it is this counting towards a year of their service? I mean, What?
Well, when the season does start, and right now the season is tentatively slated to start on January the 15th, 13th.
It's
The
not
season
official.
openers
It's not
between
official.
January 13th and the 16th.
It's not
So
official.
that will count as the 2020-2021 season. So,
it's the
their
season.
contracts will be what their contracts are.
Okay. Because
So
it's not official.
the Rangers have returned to the ice. The Rangers have reopened their practice facility. Most of the players, from what I understand, have arrived. 15 players skated Monday, including Artemi Panarin, Alexei Lafreniere, Chris Kreider, Adam Fox, Tony DeAngelo, Brendan Smith, Brendan Lemieux, Brett Howden, everybody's favorite, Keandre Miller, Julian Gauthier, Morgan Barron, Kevin Rooney, Keith Kincaid, Brandon Crawley, and Justin Richards.
Yeah. Why?
Who? Kevin Rooney?
Kevin Rooney.
Looney, Skip Rooney. He's going to compete for a fourth line spot. Excuse me. Igor Shesterkin arrived today.
Today, yeah.
Arrived today. There were pictures of him. There were pictures of him at the airport. I pray that he Ubered from the airport to wherever he's going. In like the Pope bubble, that bubble car that the Pope rides around in.
Right.
That's what Igor Shesterkin should be.
Czarmobile?
Traveling in. Yes, the Czarmobile.
Yes.
Let's see. Shesterkin has arrived. Alexei Georgiev is due shortly. Libor Hayek is scheduled to arrive this weekend. Mika Zibanejad, Pavel Buchnevich, and Capo Caco should be not too far behind. The goal is for training camp to open on January 3rd. There will be no preseason games. And season beginning hopefully January 13th through the 16th. The NHL and the NHLPA, which is the Players Association, have yet to reach an agreement on protocols and regulations for the 2021 season, though teams were advised by the league on Monday that the objective, if not hope, is to have an agreement that can be presented for ratification by both parties by the end of the week. That is according to Dancing Larry Brooks. Hello, Larry.
I think the COVID might have gotten him.
Larry?
Yeah, I don't know.
Larry's got the COVIDs?
I don't know if he's got the COVIDs, the Rona. Thought maybe he'd catch something, but I guess not. Anyway, yeah, they did a 30 for doing 30 teams or something on the NHL Network.
Yeah,
each team like 30 minutes on. I don't know. I guess that's why the 30 comes into it. I watched the Rangers one. They really seem to not have that much confidence in the Rangers making the playoffs.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Rangers are going to have tough sledding in these newly created divisions.
The divisions, yes.
Tough sledding.
Well, maybe it's good because they're going to be going up against, the Islanders, who are a defensive, a defensive machine. They're going to make you work for every goal. You're going to be going against the Capitals and the great Henrik Lundqvist.
Joe.
And then you're going to be, I know he's not really starting, but still.
I love the fact he's going to return to the Garden with the Caps. No fans. No fans in the stands. No accolades. The O's will pour out. Oh, we miss you.
Returns to his palace, but it's empty.
Right. The Emperor's got no clothes.
Right. And then you'll have what? The Pittsburgh Penguins? Are they in our division still?
The Rangers will be in a division with the Islanders, Devils, Penguins, Flyers, Caps, Bruins, and Sabres in a 56-game self-contained interdivision schedule in which opponents will face off 8 times apiece. Now, I'll tell you what
the old days.
Tell you what I like, though, is that they're going to, from what I understand, and if I'm wrong about this, somebody could correct me because somebody always does. But if I understand this correctly, they're going to do this baseball style. So the Bruins will come to New York for like a 3-game set.
Ooh.
So, you might get like a Thursday game, a Friday
agree.
game, and a Sunday game. Yeah, but I think that'll ramp up the intensity. When shit can carry over from night to night, like in the playoffs,
like a playoff series, like a playoff.
Right. I think that'll be fun. You figure if if these are eight games, then I don't know if they're going to do 4 and 4s or how they're going to do that, but I think that'll be fun. Yeah, a nice 4-game series against the Islanders.
Yeah, I
It'll be fun.
They'll be intense.
It'll be fun. No fans, but I don't think we'll.
Right. And we saw it in the playoffs that a lot of this bad feelings, you don't have to necessarily have the crowd to have that.
Right.
Those teams, they just don't. Because of the competitive nature of hockey and the tempers flare, and it's the only sport where it's kind of allowed. This would have been great, though, back in the day. Imagine playing a 3-game series with the Islanders back in the day, which was 1980.
When hockey was, really like rough and tumble.
Oh my God. I still watch a lot of those old tapes, folks. The crowds are just insane. The Ranger Islander games. It's just it's war. Jim, there's one thing you can tell, these teams that definitively do not like each other. It's like but anyway, yeah, so that's fairly good news. Where are they going to play these games? They're going to play them at the Garden? They're going to play them at where are they going to play these games?
Well, I haven't really heard what's going on with the arenas, because what I don't understand is if I don't know what's going on in New York, but if indoor gatherings are limited to 25 people, then how do you play a hockey game in New York?
Right. I mean,
if indoor gatherings in New York City are limited to 25 people, then how do you do it? And you couldn't even play the games. I think it's the same in Jersey, and so I don't know how that's going to work. I did find this article that I'll bring up real quick. Let me see here, Chrome. This is from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and I'll bring this up, and then we'll give it the solo treatment here so everybody can see it. Not much is official regarding the 2021 NHL regular season. The Hockey Now network, via Adrian Data at Colorado Hockey Now, and if you read a lot of hockey articles, Adrian Data is pretty locked into stuff. Reports from high-level sources that the Penguins and NHL teams will play their home games in their own building. Consider the Hub City idea scratched. He goes on to say, I hesitate to write that the Penguins will play at the paint can because nothing about this pandemic has been predictable. Other NHL teams are having issues playing in their home arena, including the San Jose Sharks. Our friends at San Jose Hockey Now have chronicled the collision between the hockey team and Northern California municipalities that have banned contact sports. Currently, the Sharks can't play in San Jose or neighboring arenas. And this is like, if you follow football, that the 49ers can't play games in their home stadium in Santa Clara. They've been kicked out. They've been kicked to Arizona, of all places. So the league has not set a schedule for every opponent. There exists the possibility teams could play a special one-off type game, including outdoor games between teams from other divisions or conferences. I know we posted an article in the group a couple of weeks ago that some teams were looking into playing outdoor games for their home games to possibly, be able to allow fans. I don't know how that would. I mean, I could see some teams doing that.
The Rangers can't do it. There's an agreement.
Well, but the Rangers, there is a way the Rangers could do it.
Oh,
if the Rangers, I think because what I suggested, we were talking about it in that thread when I posted the article. Why couldn't the Rangers, if Citi Field would agree to have outdoor games, then why couldn't the Rangers, Devils, and Islanders all agree to play their home games against each other in that building, with the Rangers being the away team in every one of those games, but the Rangers get a piece of the gate because they'd be the one bringing in the most fans anyway. But I don't think any fans would even be allowed at Citi Field. I don't know what's going on with New York. I mean, between Como and de Blasio, that state's a fucking mess.
Well,
Every state's a mess right now. Every state's a mess, and everybody hates their governor. That's what that
basically.
I
want my freedom.
Right.
So, yeah. First of all, who's going to go to a hockey game outdoors in January and February and March?
You'd be surprised.
I would.
You know, people are going to go. Well, you wouldn't go, but you don't think people would go.
Mean, it's a fucking pandemic going on. They got people. What, you want to get more flus?
No, we don't get the flu. You don't get the flu anymore.
Yeah.
The flu's gone.
Yeah, but
the flu's old news. That's like typhoid and polio.
Well, the old flu, this flu is more contagious than the regular flu. That's why you wear the mask.
Well, you watched the Dolphins game in Miami. They were outdoors. They had fans in the stands.
You're talking about a state just should fucking give up. I think you just float into the ocean.
Why?
Because the freaking governor down there, whatever, he's let everybody go. It's COVID central. You might as well just go. That place is. Sorry, I know it's your alma mater, but
it's no worse than any place else. It's no worse than any place else.
I don't see. Well, maybe people will go. Maybe you're right, Jim. The people would go. I wouldn't go. Even if there was no pandemic going on, I wouldn't go to a game. A regular season game sitting outside. I'm just too old.
I'm telling you, if they said tomorrow the Rangers and Devils are going to play at Citi Field and we're going to sell 10,000 tickets at a 45,000 seat stadium, we're going to sell 10,000 tickets and we'll spread everybody out and we'll have all the gates open so that everybody can come in different gates and social distancing. I guarantee you they'd sell 10,000 tickets.
Okay. How about
guarantee it?
Let's survey the chat room. Who would go if there was a game? Say you were able to go, like you had the day off, you live 20 minutes away. You
had the means financially, whatever.
Financially, would you go to the game, outdoor game, Rangers, Bruins? Say it was half price tickets. We'll try to get Gus in this conversation. Everything was a bargain. Half hot dogs.
Half price hot dogs. Yeah, hot dogs are only $6. The half price.
Beer's only $5.
Oh, so that's a third price.
Yeah,
that's 60% off. Nobody's taking your poll.
Nobody said. Chris said he'd say he'd be home watching the games.
I also. John Riggs says for half price, maybe.
Okay.
I would go with half price beer. Well, forgetting the price. Just forgetting the price. Let's just assume that everything's full price. And are you afraid to go? I think that's the better question. Or would you go? Would you be concerned or would you go?
I'm not afraid to go. I just, again, if there was no COVID, I wouldn't go anyway because it's just too cold. And I got pneumonia the last time I went to an outdoor game.
Let's say it's a March game. It's a weekend in March. It's 60 degrees, but the ice is fine. It's going to be 55 degrees.
Who are they playing?
Eddie, I got 2 free tickets, Citi Field, Rangers, Bruins on Sunday. You want to go?
I would go to that.
All right.
Are you wearing a mask?
Well, you'd probably have to. Unless you're eating or drinking, which means I could go the whole game without a mask. You watch how much I eat and drink to keep a mask off.
I don't really drink. I don't really eat much at the game.
I don't either, but I might just to keep the mask off, just so I can be heard.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. With me and you, we like to be like part of the game.
I don't want to be muffled.
Yeah, I hear you. I would probably, I would probably go. I think that's a good
scenario for me. Okay. Yeah, I need to be heard. I can't be. You should hear me at home on Sundays. I have the girls hysterical. I was screaming at the Giants.
I could be like, Jack Johnson, you suck. But
so you hear from Eddie is, you're a bum. Pound your knife on your bum.
Yeah, I don't think you gotta be effing kidding me's, which is the thing I say the most during a Ranger game when I watch it. But yeah.
The only good thing is you could probably curse a lot and get away with it because they wouldn't be able to actually see you mouthing the words.
Well, I think probably, as I noticed in the one outdoor game, the last outdoor game I was at, that, because it's not MSG security and it's not the KGB and everything's not in the city proper where it's, listen, they're not the most tolerant people in the world for any kind of obscenities or off-color humor. You could basically say anything at the outdoor games. It was like,
Right.
I remember getting into fights with Devil fans and verbal altercations. Yeah, too cold. I am too old. I think that's the way I'm looking at it. But Jim gave me a nice March 60-degree day.
I gave him springtime.
As long as it's not what's his face in the Asbury Dukes is the in-between period. What's that guy's name?
Southside Johnny?
Yeah.
Asbury Jukes?
Oh, God. Speaking of which, and I don't want to compare it to Southside Johnny, but did you catch Bruce on the SNL?
Did not.
Very good. I was very
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
I have to say I am not I like Bruce, but I don't get it. But I have to say a very good performance, very uplifting, very cool, very rocking. Has he had some work done? He looks like he's got a little Botox going on in the face.
I think his face has been pulled a little tight.
But he still looks great. Like he
looks great. I mean, he's in his 70s.
Yeah.
God bless him. And he's still got his energy. There's nothing fake about his energy.
No, he's terrific. It was a terrific performance.
No,
and
I don't watch Saturday Night Live anymore.
All right. And there was the Clarence Clemens's nephew or something.
Nick. Yeah.
He's like 40. I thought he looked like 25 or 20. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, this is a nice tribute. He was good. So Max, holy shit, what happened to fucking little Steven? He couldn't find a guitar big enough to hide his gut. He's using that old Gretsch, the biggest body on the guitar to hide that gut. What happened?
He's always been hefty. He was pretty good size when he was Silvio. I mean, he just covered it up because he was always in a big coat. He was pretty good size, though.
He's got to change his nickname.
And
then Niels Lofgren, who I've always liked, he looked a little bizarre looking. I didn't like his look. He's wearing like a train conductor's hat. A little goofy.
Yeah, Niels is a little odd, and he sings. He's got a weird voice and
he's very high. He's done a lot of great stuff with Neil Young.
Yes, he has.
And then Max Weinberg is great on the drums. I don't know the two keyboard players' name. That's it. Pretty good.
Roy Bitton, the ball. He's the bald guy with the beard. That's Roy. And
who's the bass player? Is he just some guy like now?
Well, I believe the bass player was Gary Talent, but I don't think according to my friend Keith McElroy, texted me to ask me if I watched it, and he said Gary Talent wasn't with them on Saturday Night Live. It was somebody else.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. Usually they put the clips on Hulu or something. I
think they're on YouTube now.
I'll watch it just to watch him. But I'll be honest, I can't. I don't watch Saturday Night Live anymore. I don't find it funny anymore. I don't really particularly find anybody that's on it funny. It's too political and not, it used to be political, but they made it's like it's for my taste.
Right. It's a lot of the same old.
And I'll be honest with you, it's the same thing. I don't care. I don't shit about his politics. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from anybody. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fair episode, I thought. I mean, they did a very controversial bit on the coronavirus.
Oh, did they?
The whole entire family was the the coronavirus, and they were like, "Good job, you infected this guy," and the neighbors were herpes. I thought, I really thought that they wouldn't go there, and they did.
And then
Anyway, so that's our cultural report. What's
right,
going
that's
on?
a pop culture report.
Pop culture report. So I was so if this comes off with the Rangers and the league and the whole bit, 56 games.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, 56, I think, something like that.
So that would be a tough road to hoe, like you said in the opening. Is just against those caliber of teams. I mean, the Sabres are the only what I would consider a cakewalk. All the other series, the Devils, the Rangers are it's gonna be tough.
I mean, you're talking about the Islanders who went to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Bruins are always one of the best teams in the league. Caps are always one of the best teams in the league. Penguins are usually in the upper echelon. The Flyers are on their way up. Where's the easy out? There is none. The Rangers are going to be the easy out in that division. It'll be tough.
It's going to be tough because as they were doing this, they had penciled in, I don't know, as the third pairing as Brendan Smith and Jack Johnson. And I got really worried. Like, I mean, come on, really? I mean, I got to figure Keandre Miller. Exactly. I know it's only the third pairing, and I shouldn't get too upset with it. And then even with, we're putting a lot of weight on Ryan Lindgren. We're putting a lot of weight on, guys that played good last year. Well, we don't know how they're going to do in the long run. They're not really established.
Right.
So it's going to be even Tony D, who had a great season last year. We don't know how it's going to play out in the long run. So there's a lot of uncertainty, I think. The fourth line, I think we need. These are the things I got worried as I watched the thing. Listen, we got hell of a amount of talent. I mean, offensive talent. There's no doubt about it. And it's young, and they're going to be. They could skate with anybody. But their point was: is Mika Zibanejad going to have the same season he had last season? Is Panarin going to have the same kind of season he had last season? And what I was thinking was, I can't see why they wouldn't. They're in, Panarin is a super talent.
Right.
Zibanejad may not have as much. I mean, he finished second half of the season. He's probably the best offensive player of the NHL. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen. But I don't see his production going down.
No, I don't think so.
I think a lot of it hinges. I think they had Filipino penciled in as the number. Was he number 3 center? Who's our centers up the middle? We've got.
Well, I think it is Zibanejad, and then you've got Strome.
Right.
And I guess the question is he the center, or is he going to play wing?
Well,
and is he the number 2 center, or is he the? I mean, they want Filipino to be the number 2 center, but he's got to get it. He's got to go get it.
He needs to make that next step.
Right. Right. They want him to be the number 2 center, and then maybe someday the number 1 center if they can't afford to pay Zibanejad in a couple of years.
Right.
Because that is going to be an issue, So,
and also the development of Capo Caco. I mean, again, you're not going to really label him anything near a bust or anything. But, we would like to see him step up his game a bit and make some progress.
Yeah, he had a rough start, and started to pick it. I thought he started to play a lot better after.
Yeah, he played a little bit better
after the new year, and then the season got shut down. And then by the time they came back for that 3 games, nobody was really any good.
And he's a big kid, and I think he'll fit in. And we got to see what Lafreniere is going to do. So there's a lot of question marks. And when I looked at the team, I said, last year I thought they were good enough to make the playoffs. Had not the COVID happened, I thought they had a good shot. They were kind of floundering there at the end when they lost to Colorado, and they just weren't playing as well. But then I started adding in like all the things that were detriments to the Rangers last year. And I don't want to belabor the point too much and go into a total. Think of the games they wasted with starting Henrik at net. Like there are games that like it just. I felt like they had to give him his last shot at something. But I think when you go with a Georgiev and Shesterkin, I think that's a much more solid pairing, and they're a year wiser.
Right.
And so that you got to factor some of those things in. It was still in the growth spurt of the franchise. I just wish they could. And I know the Brett Howden, we had this conversation about Brett Howden, and you kind of turned me on it because you said, you looked at this time on ice. Didn't he have like the least time on ice for the Rangers as forwards?
It was close. It was close.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. I think people expect too much of him. I don't think he's not. He was never billed as a number one center who's going to score you 70 points.
Yeah, and I think because he's tied with the trade with Tampa that there is more expectations from him.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
My biggest concern, guys, and I'm going to say it here. I'm going to say it live. I'm going to say it once. I may say it twice. Is a question that I asked that fella that we had on from, what was it, the BC, Boston University. What was that, the kid we had on to talk about Quinn?
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Yeah. Well, that dude I asked, and I think I even asked Steve Corianos. When the Rangers make the transition from being muckers and trying to just be competitive, and they become a high-flying team or a team that's got some talent and superstars, contender. But in that way, a team that relies on scoring. Will David Quinn be able to make the transition from the lunch pail guys to a more offensive-minded team? And so far, I don't think he has. And I'm not ready to fire him like some Ranger fans are. But I'm wondering, with this highly skilled players, this whole you got to earn it, you got to play two ways on my team. If it's going to work, number one. And number two, is he going to be the guy? Are they going to respond to this? So it's a little bit of a worry to me because I know he gets the team ready to play. Jim,
I was looking at something. Well, I'm going to challenge you a little bit here on this on your question about them not being offensive enough. I just took a quick look at the schedule from last year, and last year they scored 4 more goals 32 times. Out of how many games did they play? Out of 70 games.
70 games.
They scored 4 more goals. I think it was 32 or 33 times. And there were some games. Now, honestly, there were some games where they scored 4 more goals and still didn't win. There were a couple of those. But I mean, they scored 6 goals, quite a few games, 5 goals, quite. I'm just kind of get what you're saying, but I think offensively, I think that, I don't think he's hamstringing them.
Okay. I mean, I just, all right. I know this is a bad example, but starting with Elias Anderson, right? It just didn't work, right?
Right.
Then you had the Kravtsov thing. It seemed like there was a little bit of a disconnect. I don't blame that on him. I pretty much blame that on the Rangers organization about not being clear of what was expected from him.
And I placed the same failure on Elias Anderson. Elias Anderson, it was if he was a third round pick, nobody would have cared. I mean, he just where they picked him was just completely wrong, you know. And he may still turn out to be a nice player for somebody someday, but he's not a first round pick. There was nothing about his game that told me he was a first round pick. Did you see anything that you said, wow, this is a first line pick?
I never saw it.
And you know, Steve Korianos was the first one he was one of the first ones to say that Elias Anderson actually looked a step slower in his second year than he did in his first year. And then, you know, he said that early in the season, and then you kind of heard it from a lot of people, like, you know, as the season went on a little bit, that he looked slow. So, I mean, that was just a bad pick. I don't know pushing him. I don't know if that was Gordy Clark pushing him or.
Well, you know, the Rangers, they always are the smartest guys in the room.
Yeah,
they want to move up. They want to get you.
That was a blunder.
Yeah. Also, there was a lot of, you know, it wasn't really from us, but there were some Ranger fans who felt that Capo Caco was not used correctly last year or 9 months ago, whatever. Probably a calendar year since it was started. And his totals, again, were not good. Now, what happens if Lafreniere doesn't do too well? I mean, that's going to be a real telltale sign. Again, I don't want to peg it on Quinn. I know what he does well, and you know, he does get the Rangers to play. I mean, for the most part, they kind of play every night and they don't give up. But I'm just wondering if eventually they're going to have to go to the next step. But right now, these guys are so young. I mean, it's really up to them. I mean, that basically.
I'm anxious to see what Jacques Martin is going to do this year with the defense. Because I think the biggest complaint is that Rangers didn't really have a defensive style. I know everybody couldn't wait to run Lindy Ruff out of town, and that's fine. That's fair.
We're going to face him 8 times this year.
That's right. Well, I think we're going to see, you know, March, and we'll say, was it really Lindy Ruff's fault or not? Right?
Yeah, it's funny. We have to, like, I know we always blame the coaches, but really the onus really is on the players. So maybe, like you said, you know, like Elias Anderson was just a bum. Like, he was a bad pick and it was all on him. And again, but there are a lot of Ranger fans, you know, some people that we actually admire and like that think that David Quinn is the wrong coach.
I agree. You know, and people hate his defensive style, and everybody wanted to blame Lindy. I don't know what people expected when you've got Tony DeAngelo on defense, who is that's not what he's known for. That's not what the Rangers got him for. Adam Fox is a rookie. Ryan Lindgren is a rookie who everybody knows. I mean, we're all in agreement that Brady Shea is terrible until when he did score a goal against the Rangers,
and he knocked out Jesper Fast, and then Fast,
and he knocked right. He sent Jesper Fast right into free agency,
and to Carolina. Now he's a teammate,
right?
That traitor.
Right. So Brady Shea, and then Brendan Smith, and Mark Stahl, and Jacob Trouba. Trouba, who was learning a new defensive style, was being asked to be a first pairing, which he'd never been before in his career. I just think there was a lot more going on with this defense than just thereof or the coaching. There's only so much chicken salad you can make out of chicken feathers. I mean, we'll see if there's progress this year. There should be some progress. We should see, we should see improvement from guys like Lindgren and Truba. I don't think you're going to get much more out of Tony DeAngelo than what he is. I don't know if whatever.
Well,
Tony DeAngelo is going to score 50, 60, 70 points. I don't want him to change his game.
No,
those guys don't grow on trees.
No, you got to have up-tempo defensemen. Yeah, how many guys can play both ends of the ice? I mean, what, Nicholas Lidstrom? I mean, you can't be great offensively and great defensively. It's just it's one or the other in this league,
right?
For the most
Mostly,
part.
yeah.
There's some guys that could do it and pull it off, but those guys are elite. No, it'll be interesting to see. I feel like the Rangers they don't really have an identity yet, but that's because they're so young. They are a very young team.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Let's not forget that Adam Fox is 21. Tony DeAngelo, it feels like he's been around a long time, but he's still only 24 years old. Jacob Trouba is only 25 years old.
Yeah,
these are all young guys who should improve. But, so like I said, I think in March we could ask the question, was it Lindy Ruff or was it something else?
I think it was something else. I think it's just, you point the finger at the coach. You like the players too much. I mean, like you said, you had Jacob Trouba, who didn't have really a good season. I know a lot of Ranger fans did not like it because he makes so much money, but I don't look at that. I look at his on-ice performance. He was very physical. I like that part of his game. But I think even he will admit, and then he came out with some comment that he was more of an adjustment for him than he had thought.
Right.
And I mean, anyhow, go ahead.
I will say this about Quinn. The players play hard for him. I think they've bought into him. He seems to relate to his players very well. They've responded when there's no quit in them. I can't judge them on that 3-game playoff series. The whole thing was just ridiculous. I'm just glad it all happened the way it happened.
And I think a lot of this anti-Quinn stuff is fueled by the success that the Islanders have had right away with their coach.
Right.
The fact that he came in and, made this 2-player team a contender right away. I mean, granted, it would be tough for the Rangers to play that kind of style with the players they have because they are so young and they can't roll out a Casey Zizekas or a Matt Martin or, some of these other guys that they have.
Well, the Islanders can't roll them out anymore either. They're gone, aren't they? Both of them?
I don't know. I haven't kept up with it at all.
I think they're both gone.
They've gone to other.
Yeah, I think they've both moved on.
Oh.
The Islanders they're a veteran team. Of course, they were going to respond quicker to a new coach than the Rangers were. There's a lot more veteran players on the Islanders than there are in the Rangers.
That's true.
I know the Islanders also just lost Johnny Boychuk. I think he retired.
Where were you when Johnny Boychuk? Don't we have that clip? Where were you when Johnny Boychuk got signed?
No.
Like Bossy, and then like Bossy goes, I was giving a blowjob. Yeah, I have that clip somewhere. I will try to find it.
No.
Yeah. Johnny Boychuk.
That's funny.
Well, they got that other guy, Adam Pellick. Oh, that guy's really good. They always find these really good defensemen. But
Ryan Pollock.
Ryan Pollock,
yeah,
or the other guy is Adam Pellick. But enough of them. So it'll be interesting for the Rangers to see what they do. Jim's back.
There we go.
Yeah.
Refresh.
The old refresh button.
Yeah.
So that's where I am now. I mean, we're in a holding pattern right now. The Rangers are in a young team. I mean, yeah, do you see them making the playoffs this year? I mean, it's going to be a weird season. It's hard to calibrate where they're gonna finish.
In that division, it's going to be hard for them to make the playoffs.
Does it stunt their growth? You know, this whole it's it's such a weird time we're in. 56 game seasons, and I don't know, things is just not so normal right now. But they've exited a lot. They've jettisoned a lot of the garbage. Henrik is not here anymore. Stahl is not here. The new whipping boys will be anointed. Libor Hayek, perhaps.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Plays. They'll get quick to whip. That it whip.
Absolutely.
So that's where I am, Jim. That's all I got, actually.
You want to talk to Costa?
Yeah, let's talk to him.
All right, let's bring him in.
God,
hey, Costa, what's up?
Hi.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, usual suspect. Usual malakias, Usual malakias.
Okay. So
what?
What do you think about this season? You think it's going to come off? Do you think it's going to happen?
I'm totally in the dark with this one because there's
literally are in the dark.
There's so many variables. There's so many what ifs. I mean,
the players and the owners got to come together. Don't they both want to make money? But isn't having the games with people in it their main source of revenue? The television.
Yeah. This is a gay driven league.
It's all about the money.
The money. Anyways, I don't know. See, I don't understand what I mean with if they take the proper precautions. I don't understand why the teams in New York can't play outdoors. I don't understand why. Even if you get 10,000 people in, I don't care if it's Yankee Stadium, Citi Field, or even fucking MetLife, that's still fishnagels. You know what I'm saying? That's still coin. In
Jet Life Stadium, you mean?
What?
Jet Life Stadium?
Jet Life.
I know a lot of the other teams want to play outdoors too. I think, from what I hear,
it's been discussed. I mean, I could see Boston. I mean, why can't they go play at Fenway? Even if it's 5,000 fans, that's 5,000 fans buying beer and hot dogs.
Yeah.
Empty seats don't buy beer.
Yeah,
I mean, anything's better than nothing, right?
yeah.
I agree there.
I mean, they can't mess around. Like if it means you got to show a paper, like yeah, I'm clean, I'm clean, shit like that. If they got to do that, I would do it, man.
Show us your papers. Yeah, they got to take your temperature before you go into the stadium. Whatever you got to do.
Only rectally. That's the only way to get me. The only way to get me is rectally. You want accuracy, you go right to the horse's mouth.
You drop your pants and they do it
Absolutely. Drop your pants and smile.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what they're going to come, but they got to start it soon because if there's any hiccups or delays, you got to make room for those. And, with the vaccines, I'm not taking that vaccine. But they, if with the vaccines, they're going to be absolutely.
Matt Morello wants to know if that was a restraining order that Costa showed. It's from Slattery's.
It's a no.
Oh, stay away from me, Kordrack.
The last time you were here, you said the Rangers wouldn't beat the Canadians. What are you smoking? You were yelling.
Shut up. I'm never going to live that down, right? Never going to live that down, huh?
Hey, well, you know what, Costa? You probably were right. nobody ever thought that was going to happen. But I can't believe that did happen still to this day. It was one of the greatest comebacks in Ranger history.
What a night.
What a night.
Oh, what a night.
So anything else on your mind, Costa? Anything? Anything?
Who, give me a idea who's the opening night lineup.
Okay, well, we're gonna have Zabinajad,
Obviously,
Kreider, and
Breadman.
The Breadman, and then you're gonna have Strome. You're gonna have
first line will be Zibanejad, Kreider, and Kako. That'll be your first line opening night.
Okay, you go with Kako.
Second line, Panarin, Strome, and well, somebody's got to replace Jesper Fast up there. Maybe Lafreniere. I don't know if
Kravtsov is going to play.
I don't know. I don't know what his deal is.
Yeah, I don't know why they're babying him.
Got to get Jillian back in here.
Alp's the left winger, right?
We got to get Jillian back in here to give us an update on him and find out what kind of mood he's in.
The Rangers have like 6 left wingers.
Exactly.
They have no natural centers. This is a team can't draft a natural center for their life.
What do you need a center for anyway? We're not that good on face-offs anyway. Who gives a shit? We haven't been good on face-offs since Messier and
fourth line.
McTavish.
They got to platoon the fourth line. Fourth line's going to be a bitch.
What do you got? Lemieux. What do you got?
Howden.
No hands, Howden.
No hands, Howden. What do you think Gauthier is and the Napoli, whatever that guy's name is, Di Giuseppe?
Oh, get
that fucking wop out of here. Get that fucking wop out of here. That fucking Ginzy, that Guinea Ginzo.
Ginzo. How dare you, sir?
Affanabula. Disgraziata.
But, I mean, do you really think Julian Gauthier showed you that much that he deserves a spot in the lineup last year? I mean, I like him as a raw guy, but
on the fourth line, it can't hurt.
Like,
I'm not putting him on the fourth line. Put him on the third line.
All right.
On third line.
So then you got
I still want Morgan Barron gets a good shot.
The Rangers need a true fourth line that's got some skill. Lemieux and Howden, guys that can grind and play the tough game, and they've got to stop throwing Greg McKeggs at the fourth line and guys. Year after year, it's like the Michael Haley's and Tim Gettinger, and
that's why it has to be platooned. You got to start just throwing people there and see whatever sticks.
It can't just be like an AHL throwaway line. It's got to be a professional.
Basically a 4A line.
Yeah, it's got to be an NHL caliber line. It can't be the guys who almost made it. Like you said, like 4A guys. They can't be made up of those guys.
Well,
Brendan Lemieux, good fit for the fourth line.
Absolutely.
I would like to see a veteran, which they haven't addressed. They need some kind of veteran leadership in that locker room because, come on, guys. Chris Kreider is not a leader, and he's like the de facto guy they always go to when the reporters are looking for a leader. He's not a leader. I know we can
not
speak
Jack
31
Johnson,
languages.
really. Not Jack Johnson, no.
No, I don't even want him playing. He might wind up an assistant coach before the season's over. That guy. He'll be
on the bus. He'll be on the bus before the season's out.
Come on.
Why'd they sign this guy? Why?
I think it was a pity signing. They want Sather and Davidson. Well, Davidson wanted to give him some money before he heads out the window. Heads out of his career. Give him $1 million, and he could watch Keandre Miller play. I don't know if they play the same side.
You know, Paul, you're absolutely right. Buchnevich with no love. I don't know why, but I consistently forget about Pavel Buchnevich.
Yeah, I do too.
I consistently forget that, and yeah, it's nothing against him. He was pretty good at times last year. He might have been their second best forward the second half of the season. He gets lost. He gets lost in all the names, the Kako and Lafreniere and Zibanejad and Panarin, the big names. I consistently forget about him.
Yeah, I do.
You think it's almost like a Kovalov syndrome?
I think because
I hope he becomes that good.
He's an old flavor. You remember when he first came in? We had those two guys used to come down and tell me how great Buchnevich was. He was going to be the next.
It's because he
never really materialized into that. But he's definitely serviceable. He's definitely good.
Yeah,
he's just a prolific player. What are you doing down there?
Don't
giving a blowjob to some guy down there?
Something fell. Something fell.
Yeah.
Like Vito Spatafor, when you got a security guard in there up there with you. Grazie, the Fanuc. Let me look up. What did Buchnevich finish with? 16 goals, 30 assists last year in 68 games.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. No,
he got a lot of power play time, didn't he?
Let me see. What did he do? Game logs. Power play time. I'd have to look at his. I'd have to look at this a little closer. But
forget about him because he's an older flavor. We were always, now we look at the new toy. We were looking at Panarin. We were looking at Kako last year. We were looking at the young defenseman. He just got lost in the mix. And
Buchnevich is getting up there in years now. He's 25. He's the grizzled veteran.
Well, I did like his whole his beard and everything he grew last year. He looked real evil.
Yes.
Yeah, 4 power play goals last season.
He was the most evil
the year before.
He was the most evil guy with no points in the playoffs.
Wow, there weren't a lot of guys with points in the playoffs. That was a shit show at the Fuck Factory. That was bad.
The Rangers are 0-3 in their history in August. That's all I know. 0 for 3 in August hockey.
There's a stat.
So
well, hopefully they'll get it back together, and I have all confidence in Gary Bettman, one of the wisest, most upstanding citizens.
Yeah. And now the owners are pissed off that he made the deal and they didn't even read the fine print.
Well, those people.
What has to happen this season for Quinn to keep his job?
I think the players have to progress. Kako's got to progress. We've got to see a good year from Lafreniere. We've got to see.
You got to give those two guys a chance to play.
Yeah, right.
You can't just.
That's my problem.
You got to grade those guys on a curve a little bit because they're high draft picks.
They're
Schmerv.
And they got to play the first and second lines,
Exactly. Bingo.
They can't be buried on the fourth line. And that, I think Ranger fans get very frustrated when that happens. They even get frustrated when the players that aren't so great wind up on the third and fourth line. So, guys,
guys like Howard gets all the chances, and then Kako.
They don't like to see that. So, and I think to a degree, and don't laugh me out of the fucking podcast, but they're going to have a hard time replacing Fost as one of those guys that's a mucker and a guy who'll work for the puck.
Hey, that could be Lemieux. You don't know. Lemieux could be that type of guy.
I just know that 3 coaches thought this guy was the fucking bee's knees of the player's player.
They love him.
They love
Players
this.
loved him.
And what, for $100,000, he said, "So long, goodbye. I'm out of here." More.
They
You wanna
called
go
him
to Car-
Quickie in the locker room.
Yeah. And he got one look at Carolina in the playoffs and said, "That's where I want to play, not on this shit team."
Right. That's where a true hockey player flourishes.
Yeah, he saw
Raleigh.
Sebastian Aho, and he was like, "Oh, forget about this. They play defense over here." Except for Brady Shea, that bum. Well, anyway, so that's all I got, Jim.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right, Costa.
All right, Costa. God bless. Merry holidays.
Yeah. Happy holidays. Happy Festivus.
Yes. Festivus for the rest of us.
Right.
Bye-bye. And away he goes. Let's talk to Connor. Are we going to come back next week, do a little Christmas?
Sure.
See where we're at,
Connor's
maybe?
witness protection program.
Yeah, look at this. It's like something. Who are you hiding from?
It's gonna be
I can't. Now we can't hear.
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
No.
Hold on.
No,
There you
I
are.
have it Ready.
Can we hear you?
You guys good?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Now, I am actually. I said in the chat, in the comments before that I'm stealing someone's Wi-Fi in order to call in. That was actually true. So I'm coming in my car to in another spot.
What are you calling from the coal mines? I'm glad that you're stealing Wi-Fi to me. That's dedication.
Well, hey, you're talking to the same guy who came to the umpire from Albany, so there you have it.
Can you hear that clip?
No, I can.
I couldn't hear it either.
Oh, hold on. Try one more time.
Can't get a signal where I live. So what I do is I move down the street
You hear
to
it?
the tower at the gas station.
Yes. Yep. I got that right there.
Frankie. God bless Frankie.
Connor's on a scooter at a gas station.
So, Connor, what's on your mind? What do you got to say?
Well, hey, we're getting to hockey season, so thank God. After the absolute mess that we saw with the bubble and the complete delay and everything, hey, it's good. NHL does what they gotta do. I don't really care about the different divisions and all of that. As long as we get to see our boys in blue play.
Okay, I like that. I'm hopeful for that. Did you get a chance to watch that 30 and 30 yet with the Rangers? What they predicted?
I didn't, but frankly, I mean, most of the time they're always pessimistic about the Rangers. I mean, we let go of a giant anchor this offseason, so that's gonna help us win some games. We re-signed all the assets that we needed, and Strome and D'Angelo and all of them. So, yes.
The hanker.
The boat hanker.
The $9 million hanker.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, no, I mean, there's good things to be. I mean, there's a lot to be positive for, and then the media does like to. The media likes to, piss on the Rangers. The Sporting News will pick them for 30th again.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, we were very close to being a playoff team last year. We got most of the same guys. Plus, we got a golden boy in Alexis Lafreniere. So let's see what happens.
But I think Jim's right, though. This schedule is going to be brutal. They're going to be playing a lot of good teams, and I guess it's a good thing. The Rangers.
Yeah, that's true.
Think if you're some of these other teams like the Devils who are trying to get, it's going to be a tough road for them. They're not going to be playing like the Winnipegs or the Red Wings or they're playing tough teams every night.
Yeah,
So.
I figure we get enough wins against Buffalo and the Devils, and then if we can have a few from the Bruins and the Islanders, we can at least be competitive.
Sure. Oh, I like your positive spin. I feel a little bit more. I feel better now.
Well, you know, you gotta feel better about the fact that we also let go of Leah Sanderson, and I think we can all agree that that reboot failed. That reboot went about as well as dial-up did.
It's true. That was a bad reboot. I was willing to give him a second chance, and he blew it. He blew it.
Yeah. Well, let's give Cockomania a nice reboot, and let's say this reboot goes better than the way that Star Wars did.
Yes. Well, that's a very controversial subject now. That Hayden, whatever his name is, Christensen, is terrible. The bane of the Star Wars franchise.
The fourth line of the Star Wars franchise, shall we say.
He's the worst.
They're bringing. I can't believe he's coming back for the Obi-Wan show.
That's so dumb.
It's like if they were to bring Susan Sarandon back into the booth.
She was terrible. Oh. All right, Connor, we've got Tabambo. Try to stay out of reach from the police. They still are looking for the Zodiac Killer
project.
Well, you know what I found out is, with wearing a beanie and having a no COVID haircut, it allows you to fit so many dime bags and peyote inside that they can look all they want. They won't find shit.
I keep waiting for Connor to go, I'm so scared. I'm so frightened right now.
All
right, Connor.
If you've just joined us, we're talking to the Zodiac Killer.
Right.
No, it's a pleasure to see you. I hope all is well, and happy holidays there, Connor.
Happy holidays, happy Festivus, and so on.
Take care,
all right, take it easy.
Thank you, care.
Andy Pettit, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so how about Tuesday next week?
Yeah, Tuesday sounds good.
All right, we'll come back next Tuesday. Hopefully we'll have some updates. We'll have a real season to talk about. We'll do some Christmas stuff.
Yeah, we'll do the kind of a Christmas special.
Christmas spectacular.
Paul Lynn will be here.
Paul Lynn.
I heard a great story about Paul Lynn the other day.
Oh, really? I keep meaning to ask you this, and now that since we'll have a minute here at the end before I forget again. You're a big. Everybody knows you're a big Cars fan, but Rick Ocasek has been taking a beating ever since he passed away.
Well, he left his wife out of the will and the kid
and the son and something. I mean, there's just been
saying he was a very distant father.
Just some horror stories about this guy. Who knew Rick Ocasek was so evil?
He isn't. He was a practical man. He was separated from his wife at the time. She was carrying on with some other guy all over Twitter and like flirting and
like Mrs.
Shatner. Bitter about it. It was Bitter Rick. And he sit there. He had some complications. She wasn't visiting him. There's both sides of the story. Who knows what?
Pictures of her in the Post cleaning out the apartment. She's sitting.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
With the,
she's all about her next book.
She's playing the widow. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what.
There's a book in this. Trust me. She's written a book about it. Everything. How modeling and how rough it is in modeling. And I don't even like her because she says, I just can't stand an overweight man. So what, you picked a Biafra case and Rick Ocasek?
Biafra case?
That's the oldest reference. It's all people use over like 80-year-olds use that.
Case.
I mean, he looks like, an Ethiopian. The guy weighed like 8 pounds.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing to him.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, she's playing the widow Ocasek. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
On my group, there's Michael Silvers is also a huge Cars fan. And
yes, he is. Right. Yeah.
And I almost want to invite you to the group because we fucking troll that group so bad.
Really?
Like the guitarist Elliot Easton wears a wig, and some of these wigs are so bad. We rank on it on the wigs, and people are like, Why are you ranking on the wings? It doesn't matter. It's about the person. I go, but come on, look at that thing. It's got a chin strap. they can't handle it. They can't handle it. And his sister is in the group.
Oh, really?
LB's sister. Yeah. And she's like, don't make fun of my brother. I don't know. So who knows? But yeah, it's been a lot of controversy. I don't believe it. I met the guy a couple times. I usually could size people up. And he was a very timid, he was a weird guy. I could see him being into himself. He was
right.
That, but I don't know. I think she wants to paint a different picture. But he did leave them out of the will. There has to be something there. What? Why? The kids too.
See, that's a little weird. I understand, if he was having problems with the wife or whatever, but the kid made it sound like he just had like no relationship with the guy.
That's not from Paulina. That kid,
right?
Been married 3 times. Was married 3 times, and this is the one that kind of had a career and then didn't have a career, and you never supported me. You don't know what these fucking kids. But I could see it. Listen, a lot of these artists, they're just all about themselves. He could have been like that.
Yeah. That's sad. Poor Paulina.
Poor Paulina. She's beautiful. And she's complaining that guys don't whistle at her anymore. Well, you're not fucking 20 anymore.
She's got to be. She's in her
my
mid-50s,
age,
right?
She's like 55. She don't like fat guys. Fuck yourself. I don't like the skinny fucking bitches from fucking Czechoslovakia. Go fuck yourself.
There you go.
Paulina, I will always be a Rick devotee.
Next week on the show, Paulina.
Well, if we did it, I would love to do a podcast on the cars, man. We can ruffle a lot of feathers with that.
To tell her story.
Tell her story. Because there is a Cars podcast, but I refuse to listen to it.
Why? Is it hosted by Todd? Is it hosted by Todd Rundgren?
Because honestly, and I know this is gonna sound really like I'm full of myself, but I would probably consider like maybe 2 other people on Earth that know more about the band than me. And these people can't tell me anything. I don't know. I'm just very, what's the word I'm looking for? I got a lot of hubris when it comes to this.
Right.
Because I mean, since I was 12 years old, I've been fucking collecting everything and data and everything and my opinions on stuff. So I don't know. I need some idiot to tell me. It's like I'm constantly criticizing people on this fucking thing. Like, the best song off the Shake It Up album is Touch and Go. I'm such a big fan. This and that. And they're heroes of mine. Hey, idiot. Touch and Go is off Panorama. It's not even off Shake It Up, you moron. So fucking right there, I'm pissed off. I'm agitated. I would never last a second.
Right there, but right there, you're not talking to somebody who's a serious fan.
But they put that they're heroes, and I grew up, and it's all this, and then they don't know the album. You know, Bruce. They say, Atlantic City. Oh, I love that album. It's what I mean. I love that song. It's off the Born to Run album. I don't even know if that's an album.
It's on the Nebraska album.
It's on the Nebraska album, which at the time, I remember when Nebraska came out, it was not well received.
No.
But what is it? Mostly acoustic.
It's very dark. It's all acoustic. Bruce recorded the whole thing in his living room, and basically carried the tape around in his pocket. He didn't even want to submit it to the record company, and then he submitted it, and they didn't like it. But it's kind of withstood the test of time, that album, and some of the songs that he's kind of tweaked with and played in concerts, and they become some of his most popular songs.
You're an expert. You know that stuff.
Right.
So that's the kind of thing. I don't really talk
about. But yeah, if somebody
it.
came to me and said, "Oh, I love Bruce, Atlantic City. It's one of my favorite songs off the Darkness album," I'd be like, "What?"
Yeah, exactly. You're like, this guy's a know nothing. He knows nothing, and
right.
You get I get agitated. I'm sure you would too. I mean,
I do too. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I do the Rangers show. When I hear an idiot opinion, I flip out, and makes for good.
When you're talking to a stranger about something that you think you have in common, and then and they just say something that is just so off the wall, and you realize that they're not on your for lack of a better term.
I know, you
realize they're not on your level of expertise on the subject, and they just lose you.
Yeah, it's like, I know it's kind of elitist, but if somebody, I say, oh, I'm a Ranger fan. Oh, you're a Ranger fan? Messier, man. Yeah. And you're like, Messier?
Like
1994.
Jen, okay, just a quick example. Jen and I go to ShopRite Sunday morning, right? We had to get some stuff for Sunday dinner and everything. I'm in full Giants gear, right? See this guy at one of the aisles. This guy, he's got a Giants hat, a Giants mask on, like me. He looks at me. He goes, "Oh, hey, the Giants! Oh, let's go Giants!" I said, "Yeah, whatever." And he goes, "They're playing the Cardinals today." I'm like, "You honestly think I don't fucking know that?" It was like I don't know. It turned me off. It really did. I'm like, what the fuck? You think I don't know who they're playing today?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It does. I don't know what it is.
It does. It gnaws at me, as Dice would say.
But then when we find somebody like we found through the show, and you and me and all the pet that you can relate, you're all on the same level. It's great,
right?
But there are those casual fans, what we would call casual fans,
right,
that aren't thinking about the game all week, thinking how they can stop Kyler Murray. Is Leonard Williams going to still play great? And this and that. Is Daniel Jones coming back? Is that going to affect the game? By the way, I lost money on your Giants this week. You'll be very happy.
Sorry to hear that.
I don't know what happened.
That was a shit show. Daniel Jones shouldn't have played. First of all, he wasn't healthy. That was the first problem. They would have been better off with Colt McCoy. Only because Jones wasn't healthy.
It was like 13-0. Like
he fumbled the ball on the second play of the game. The Cardinals took over at the 9-yard line. Then they fumbled the kickoff. I mean, it was a shit show. After that Seattle game, to play like that was just awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
But Seattle took it out of the Jets.
Yeah, they sure did.
40-3.
Jesus.
Holy cow. All right, we're done here.
You've been a great crowd. Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much for showing up, folks. We'll talk more hockey next week. The Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever Festivus holiday special.
I'll have the video queued up. Everybody knows that the Brian Boyle video will have it.
The Yule log.
The Yule log. We always put the Darth Vader Yule log on when we open Christmas presents. Have you ever seen it on YouTube? Yeah. The Darth Vader? That's the one we play. And then we put music on while Darth Vader burns in the background.
Very cool.
So, anyway, we will see you guys next Tuesday night. Stay healthy. Be safe tomorrow. Big whopper of a storm coming this way. Up to 2 feet of snow expected here in the Lehigh Valley.
Whoa.
It's going to be crazy. All right, Eddie, always a pleasure.
Take care, sir. Again. Take care,
see you guys soon. We love you. Good night, everybody.